It's Channel Weird, and I'm Clyde Lewis. Hope you're having a fine day. I've been looking forward to this. When I first heard who I was having on today, I was thinking, gosh, I'm looking forward to meeting a true superhero of Portland. And I mean that because he is a superhero. His name is Brian Kidd, or that's your alter ego, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's my Peter Parker.
You're Peter Parker Clark Kent. Brian is Brian Kidd, mild-mannered. What do you do besides
survey? I'm in the aerial survey world. I use lasers and do mapping from helicopters and airplanes.
So you're still cool, even though your alter ego shows up as the Unipiper. He's the Unipiper. Brian, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's so good to finally have a chat with you face to face. I mean, you've been to some of my parties. You've been to parades, events.
Crossed paths many times, probably at Comic-Con, maybe the UFO Festival.
Yeah, we see Brian all the time, and what a remarkable, talented man you are. I've always thought it's the most unique thing. In fact, if I was to tell anybody what the most unique thing about Portland is, because everybody says, they have a unique thing, whether it's a sandwich, you can get your sandwich, this sandwich anywhere. Voodoo Donuts, of course, everybody goes, Voodoo Donuts in Oregon and whatever. The Unipiper is the most unique thing I think we have here in the state. The weirdest thing we have, probably the king of weird. And you are part of what is called, is it the Weird Guild, or what is the name of it?
It's called Weird Portland United.
Okay, Weird Portland United.
Yeah.
And what exactly is Weird Portland United?
It is a nonprofit that I started back in late 2018 with the mission of keeping Portland weird. Because at that time, as you probably noticed, you stopped seeing as much weird stuff around. Mm-hmm. And that all of the people in that culture, it's so near and dear to my heart. And I know Portland as a whole as well. And I just felt like I didn't want to see it slip away anymore. So I wanted to try and do something to hold on to that and not see us lose that part of our identity that it happens in other places. People always point to like Seattle and San Francisco as examples of places that have lost a little bit of that rough edge.
It's the art culture that brings everybody out. I think one of the things that did my heart good was I was on the internet the other day and I saw Street Elvis, singing at Karaoke from Hell.
Yeah.
They opened it up again at Dante's, and I'm thinking, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. Street Elvis comes out, sings a song, he sees a shadow, and it's 6 more weeks of weird. It's kind of like that. But then now you're here. I mean, but see, that's the thing about you, is that you show up in all the weird places in town. But my gosh, you've traveled the world.
I have. Yes, it is surprising how far this one wheel has taken me.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Brian rides a unicycle. I mean, for those who are watching nationally, because not only is this a Portland thing, but we're national. We're being seen on the internet and everywhere. He rides a unicycle, wears a kilt, and he dresses up in different costumes and plays these bagpipes that spit fire.
I think you got it.
Yeah. He's like the Kiss of bagpipers. It's like explosions and all kinds of cool stuff. And I mean, what different characterizations? I know you do Darth Vader. It's amazing. Yeah. You do Darth Vader. I mean, in fact, when I talked to my stepson, I said, Unipiper's coming. Is he going to dress as Darth Vader? And I said, I'm coming. So you're so well known that people, like my stepson goes, hey, I'm coming if he's dressed as Darth Vader. I mean, what different personas do you take on?
I mean, I don't do this just for the sake of random, even though that's what it seems like a lot of times. Like I do put thought into like the song selection on the pipes and what I'm wearing. I like to dress for the occasion. If it's in December, I'll don the Santa costume. I've got a Bigfoot costume that works pretty well. And then there is the UFO festival we talked about. I dressed up like a gray alien there and played the X-Files theme on the bagpipes.
Right. I mean, every occasion. Whether it be bar mitzvah or whatever, he plays the role really well. And so, when did this begin for you? I mean, I guess what came first, the bagpipes or the unicycle?
Technically, the bagpipes came first. I was learning, taking lessons on the pipes, and then while that was going, that was in college, and I'd seen an advertisement, a flyer for free bagpipe lessons. So it's like, that sounds sure, why not? I mean, I always thought bagpipes were cool, but it's not like it wasn't never my lifelong dream to play bagpipes. It was just one of those things that struck me at the right time.
So you were really into playing the bagpipes.
Yeah, I tried it out. For everyone that tries to learn the bagpipes, maybe only 10% carry through and stick with it. And
because I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to play the trombone, and instead I couldn't afford the trombone, so they gave me the baritone, which is this huge trumpet thing. No, this huge horn that I had to carry in this big lugging case.
Yeah.
And just one day I got fed up. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't carry the case. I couldn't carry. But I'm sure bagpipes are pretty compact, right?
They do. They fold up, and I started on trumpet, so
okay,
instruments of that size, I guess. So I was learning the pipes, and was like, yeah, I like this. And then at that time, I just happened to find a unicycle in a dumpster. And I guess it was just another one of those things. It's like, cool, a unicycle. I've never really had an interest in unicycles before, but this opportunity is now in front of me. So
this sounds like something that mild-mannered bagpipe player walks down the street, sees a unicycle in a dumpster, and all of a sudden you hear, and then the lights, starts glowing, and you.
It sounds like a Far Side comic.
It does. It just sits there and it's glowing, and I have found my destiny, and it's a unicycle. That's amazing. So you found it at a dumpster, and then what? You had to take unicycle lessons, or you just a natural?
No, that I mean, it was just at the dawn of YouTube when I was doing this, and there was like a YouTube or a unicycle tutorial video, and just about a half hour a day practicing on that. I was riding that in about 3 weeks. The pipes are far more challenging than the unicycle. It takes about a full year for someone who's just touching a bagpipe for the first time to really get proficient in playing on that.
I can imagine the concentration involved, because I know that, I guess once the pipes are full, all you have to do is do the fingering stuff. But it's like I can't even, pat my head and rub my tummy at the same time, let alone, I think, being on a unicycle, having to balance with these big bagpipes, wearing a Darth Vader helmet,
yes, and
fingering at the same time.
Controlling the fire.
Yeah, that's another thing. Fire. Okay. You're the only guy I know that has bagpipes that shoot fire out. How does that work?
Most of the time when people ask me that on the street, I just look at them and say, I use the force and a little propane.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. The fire came about one time. I was performing, and a lady came up to me afterwards and was like, oh, that was impressive and everything, but where's the fire? And like, it just kind of struck me. It's like, oh, that would be cool. Because at that time, I didn't know how far I was going to be able to take this act of just unicycles and a bagpipe. So I felt like that would really elevate this act to the next level. And so I've got a friend who does pyrotechnics professionally, and I asked him, it's like, do you think we could make the bagpipes shoot fire? And
so he rigged them to shoot fire.
It became a challenge. Yeah. So we found a way to attach. It's an attachment. It doesn't. A lot of people they'll ask me. This is one of my favorite Unipiper questions: is what are you drinking? What are you blowing through there to make the fire come out?
Because I think you're probably putting paraffin or something.
Yeah.
Through it. Yeah.
Right. But it's an external attachment.
Okay. Well, and it fools me because I don't really see the attachment. I'm just thinking, like I say, I see it and I wonder, how is he doing this? How is he pushing the button? Is he pushing a button, or is he doing something? Because then they just come from out of nowhere, these flames, and they're just amazing to watch. It's just an amazing thing to see.
So I'm using pretty much the only other part of my body that I still have free access to that's not being used in balancing, and that's my right elbow. So
okay. So see, again, is this coordination that I don't think anybody realized that goes into this act.
A lot of people, I think, just when they see it, they think it's cool, and they take it for granted that I'm just out there doing this thing, not thinking of all the logistical and mental gymnastics going on to make this happen.
So in your itinerary, do you look over events and say, I think the Unipiper needs to be here, or do people say, find the Unipiper, bring him here? What's the deal on that?
It definitely started with the former, where I would. This was just something I was doing purely for fun. And, when I moved to Portland and, I see the sign that says Keep Portland Weird, and I'm like, oh, that's, I get that spirit, I'm going to do my part.
Right.
And I would look at what's going on, and it is a little bit, you have to be mindful with the bagpipes. They're extremely loud, and you never want to insert yourself into a situation where a Unipiper is not needed.
Like a funeral.
Yeah, unless it's asked for. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I could, you're playing Amazing Grace while, fire shooting out of the, kind of like something out of Star Trek, I guess.
It has happened, and it's somebody has a vision for their funeral, or Uncle Jim always had a sense of humor, and so we want the Unipiper there.
Wow,
I do that.
So the sky's the limit for you. I mean, you'll do a funeral if they ask you to.
Oh yeah, I've done many funerals.
Really?
Yes.
Weddings?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Gosh, what's the strangest thing you've had to perform at?
Probably one of the strangest things I've done is I was hired by a Portland group that trains seeing eye dogs, and they wanted to expose the dogs to something that they may encounter in Portland. And so, like, I'm doing my thing for the dogs while they are trying to tell the dogs to like sit and stay,
Oh my God.
Pay no mind to the man on the unicycle. And the dogs are like howling as I'm riding around.
That's too funny.
And like they paid me to do this. And so that was pretty amazing.
So the strangest stuff. Have you ever opened for a rock band?
No. I was, I think there's a festival, Hair Fest or something that happens, and all those, tribute bands get on and rock out.
Yeah.
And I was asked to do, go on as an AC/DC, part of the AC/DC, and do It's a Long Way to the Top. But it didn't work out, so I missed my opportunity.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, that you probably do the AC/DC tribute or something and play that song. I used to joke about that all the time. I said, not enough bands who use bagpipes in their music, and all of a sudden AC/DC comes along with that song, and I just think, oh, that's funny that they're using it. So, okay. What about an album? You ever thought of doing a record album? I mean, I don't know how that could translate unless it's like a live album.
Yeah.
It's like you go to like maybe what's that place out there? The truck stop out there near Jansen Beach. You go out there and you do a show at the truck stop at Jansen Beach and just have it.
And release a live album.
Juvits.
Of that.
You go to Juvits. The Unipiper at Juvits. Live at Juvits.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be.
Just do that. I would pay a ticket. I'd go. We're going to Juvits, guys. We're going to go see the Unipiper play. That'd be great.
I think Voodoo Donuts has a record label. I'm talking to them about that.
Oh,
That's
do
a
it.
good idea.
I think that'd be great because it'd just be one more way of getting you into the hands of people and having them to see just how talented and wonderful. I can tell you this, that whenever you show up, I always smile. And the reason why is because I always tell people when I first moved to Oregon, I'd say, you never believe what you see on the streets of Oregon. And that is why it's so important that weird happens. I mean, two of the first people I met, when I came to Portland, was Elvis. I met him on the street.
Yeah.
He and I talked.
Same here.
And Rex Diablos Church, who is the guy with the horns and the devil guy.
Yeah.
I met him and he had his big dog. And I was like, I think I'm going to like this town,
Yeah.
Because, that's the thing is we need to have these people.
Absolutely.
And I found out they made a donut for Rex. He has his own donut at Voodoo. So, I mean, are they going to make you a donut? They got to, right? A Unipiper donut?
Yeah, I don't think they've done that yet, but I think it is about time.
Yeah, I'm saying right now, guys, Cat Daddy, if you're listening to me, Trace, if you're listening to me, you got to give Brian his own donut at Voodoo Donuts. That would be the best. I think that'd be awesome. Brian Kidd with us, the Unipiper. We'll be back with more Channel Weird right here.
It's a well-known fact that controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored and even banned on the internet by corporate and political interests. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero. And in order to counter the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digital playground called Aftermath. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring a social media platform, videos, audio clips, archive shows, research groups, documents, and a news aggregator. In addition, we're hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Conspirafact with Wes and Bill, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Parawareness with Mr. Gates and Isaac Weishaupt, Opposing Perspective with James Ponder, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and several more shows. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are available too. The monthly subscription for Aftermath is only $10 a month. The yearly special for new subscribers during the month of June is only $99. Sign up now by going to aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org. It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain, and the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com.
Brian Kidd with us. The Unipiper, standing for truth, justice, and weirdness. So good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Clyde.
Now, do you remember your first gig?
First gig. I mean, I remember, I'll tell you some early memories I have of unipiping in Portland. One of them was learning firsthand the rules regarding what is allowed in Pioneer Square.
Okay.
And so I broke 2 rules in one, because you can't be on a wheeled vehicle, unicycles included. And so
Wow.
Strike 1, and you can't be making noise over a certain level of decibels. And the bagpipes were breaking that rule. So I was like, okay, so Pioneer Square is off limits.
I got in trouble in Pioneer Square because I was with a group called Pacific North Weird. There's this guy, great producer, and
I've run into him a couple times.
He's a great guy, and we did this thing where I was dressed as Santa Claus and my buddy Lucian was dressed as Bigfoot. So we were going through Santa Claus, Bigfoot. For some reason, we just thought that would be funny. Walk through Pioneer Square, and he just got this urge to jump in where all the Christmas trees were, right there by the visitor center, and go rah rah rah. And some guy goes, "You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing." Is this guy? You shouldn't be doing that. He's like following around. You shouldn't be doing that. I just thought it was too bad we didn't get that on camera because it was just so funny. This guy was like something out of a cartoon. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. So I know what you mean about Pioneer Square. They just have problems. I don't know what the problems are, but they have them.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So Pioneer Square was off.
Mm-hmm. So the place where I first started really making regular appearances and making a name for myself in Portland was at the Portland State Farmers Market.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for a while. And then the funny story is I also would play at the Saturday Market downtown under the Burnside Bridge. And that's where I met my wife-to-be. I was performing and she saw me, and it was a hot summer day, and she gave me a iced tea as a tip. And as she was doing this, I didn't actually see anyone leave it, and I picked it up and I was going to talk to whoever gave it to me. But right at that time, the police came up and were talking to me and kind of pushing me away, and that there had been a disturbance with a different bagpiper the previous week at the market.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then my wife is my future wife is off to the side watching this, and then she's thinking maybe I don't want to get involved with this, but then later we ended up getting matched on eHarmony, and it comes out that that was our first interaction.
Piping is not a crime.
Bumper stickers.
Piping is not a crime. That kind of piping, I guess.
Yes.
You can pipe otherwise, but not that. That's not a crime. So running into problems with the cops. So you're really a renegade. I guess.
Yeah. Until you, admittedly now it's a different story because I know most of the police and the security people recognize me as the Unipiper. So I have a little bit of leeway there.
Yeah.
But starting off, until you make a name for yourself, you're definitely you're taking on some personal risk.
So now you're Unipiper. Do you get 10% off everything in the store? I mean, do you get do you get people giving you drinks or wanting autographs? I mean, because let's face it. I mean, it's awesome that you're around. I just want to say it's awesome to have him around. It's
Yeah, I occasionally get recognized, and because most people, that's one of the biggest misconceptions about the Unipipers. A lot of people just know me as Darth Vader, and they think that I'm this weird person who does this thing anonymously,
right.
and they think that I don't ever reveal my face. But then I do get a good number of people who say hi and stuff and recognize me, and kind of the reverse. Instead of people giving me things, yesterday I was on 26 on the highway. And I was stopped waiting to get on. How the light lets one car at a time. So the car next to me, the lady looks over and she just gets all excited because my car says the Unipiper and it says "Keep Portland Weird" on the side, and it's hard to miss. So she knows who this is here, and she gets all excited and she rolls down her window and she's like, "I'm the biggest fan." And so I threw a Unipiper keychain at her through her window, and she just got all excited. It was a very cool moment.
So you could throw her a sock and she would have loved it.
Yeah.
Here, have my sock. Here, have my shirt. That's great. Well, I mean, the reason why too that people recognize you and the reason why people are so excited is because you have made a name for yourself nationally. I mean, you were on, gosh, I've seen you on TV countless times. You've been on several variety shows. You've been on America's Got Talent, the Gong Show, the new Gong Show, I think it was.
Yes.
And what others?
Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Jimmy Kimmel, of course. Why would I forget Jimmy Kimmel?
Yep.
Tell me about those experiences, because I'm sure every experience is different. I've never been on a variety show. I don't know what that's like. I'm sure a lot of people would like to know what it's like to be the Unipiper on a variety show.
Yes, it is. You kind of hit it when you said that they're different. Each one is absolutely different. There are different people running these things with different intentions, and that is reflected in how you are presented on TV and the experience of getting there. Like America's Got Talent, for instance, they had contacted me 4 or 5 years in a row telling me, "Oh, you should audition, you should audition, you should audition." And for the first couple of years I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." They asked me to audition, and then nothing ever happens. And it's stressful to go through that process.
Mm-hmm.
So by the last time, I almost said, "No, I'm too busy." And eventually I did. And then that last time I ended up getting on the show. And it was interesting. You on America's Got Talent, you are one of many people, and people are there to win. And so backstage with the other contestants, it is cutthroat.
Really?
There's not a lot of camaraderie and friendship happening. People are kind of in their own zone, and they see everyone as a threat. I don't regret the experience at all, but it was an interesting one. But the Gong.
How do you? Well, okay, so I mean, you came on and you didn't get axed, did you?
Oh well, that was the other thing. I performed, and I did not even get to finish my act.
You got axed.
Yeah,
oh,
I did.
Come on, really?
And they didn't even show when the episode aired. They didn't even show the judges' reactions or anything like that. They just used me in a montage in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have had no idea what the judges actually said. But from memory, I can tell you that Howard Stern told me that I should have left my unicycle. I should have left my talent in the dumpster where I found my unicycle.
Oh man, how'd you take that? I'd say I don't know. I'd be angry about that. They don't get it.
I mean, that's the thing. You got the audience in front of you and all the lights, and you just kind of smile and you're like, all right.
I'll take that.
That's how it's going to be. That's what I'm remembering from this.
Jimmy Kimmel, how was that?
Jimmy Kimmel was amazing. Jimmy Kimmel himself, everything you hope that the guy would be is, nice and down to earth. He was, at least that's how. I didn't, have a lot of time to hang out or anything, but he portrayed himself very professionally and very down to earth, nice to everyone.
He actually sat you down to talk to you.
We talked.
Usually it's just a cameo appearance by Brian Kidd. But no,
he was like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Yeah.
And we did a rehearsal early in the day, and it was a very truncated rehearsal because he was like, I don't want to. The first time we talk is going to be great. I don't want to spoil that right now. So do your thing, so I came out and I got to. It was a segment called "Can They Do It Live," where they find people on the internet that do crazy things, and then they bring them out to see if they can do it again live in person. So curtain went up and I wrote out and talked to Jimmy, and he asked me about what I do, and I told him a little bit about how things work. So then he's like, all right, let's see, can he do it? And I ride around a couple times, and the stage it looks really shiny, and that's because it is really slippery. So I almost fell at the end, but I didn't. I caught myself. I went like circles around Jimmy, and he was scared that I was going to catch his hair on fire. It was pretty great.
That's great. And the Gong Show, of course, was just were you just an act, or were you part of just the chaos?
I was an act. I was the very first act in the very first episode of the relaunch of the Gong Show. So it was like how they were kicking things off was with the Unipiper. And that was like the complete opposite experience of America's Got Talent. I made friends with all the people that were competing on the episode with me, and I still talk to several of them to this day. And everybody there was just like, yeah, we're doing this wacky thing, and a show like this where everyone kind of takes themselves so seriously on reality television, that the whole sort of mantra of the Gong Show was just like, let's have a good time. And so that was kind of the vibe on set. Mike Myers was there as the host, and he was in character because he wasn't hosting as Mike Myers. He was a character called Tommy Maitland, a British comedian that he was playing. And so technically I never saw Mike Myers on set. It was
you said Tommy Maitland.
Tommy Maitland. Yeah.
It was funny because I remember when that came out, and Tommy Maitland was the host. And then all of a sudden they said, Tommy Maitland has a secret, and he's Mike Myers. And I thought, wow, once again, it's a tribute to Mike Myers and how much of a talent he is, because I think Tommy Maitland was just one of those characters, kind of like, it's a different character that he did a convincing job of making it look as though that he was some sort of other guy. It's funny how people can get lost in characters like that, and they just they do such great work. So you've played Kimmel, you played Gong Show, you played America's Got Talent. Were there any gigs you did where you had to travel long place and you're doing it for dignitaries or somebody like that?
I know. I've always thought that I should be part of the official welcome committee here in Portland when we welcome anyone to the town. Like, the Royal Rosarians have not contacted me yet. But I have gotten to perform internationally. I traveled. Travel Oregon sent me to Amsterdam.
Wow.
To participate and perform in a Portland festival in Amsterdam.
That's interesting.
It was interesting. There was a TV show. Do you remember a reality show called The Mole?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
So it was taken from a Dutch show called The Mole. And it was extremely popular and went on for very many seasons. The season, it was all, the Dutch contestants, but it was filmed that season all in Portland.
Okay.
So then this was like the big celebration for that season, and so they had all the cast there, and so they had everything set up as though people could come out and visit what Portland is like, and so they had myself and Mr. Statue, who you might recognize.
The silver statue guy.
Yep. So we were there to be ambassadors from Portland.
That's another guy that certainly I think represents Portland, because I remember every time I got off the train downtown, it was always a cup of coffee, Oregonian or Willamette Week, Silver Dude.
Yes.
And it was always Silver Dude just standing there right on the corner where Pioneer Square Mall is and where Pioneer Square is, near the old courthouse. Anyway, Brian Kidd with us on Channel Weird, talking about the Unipiper, the alter ego, and the remarkable weirdness that is the Unipiper. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.
It's a well-known fact that controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored and even banned on the internet by corporate and political interests. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero. And in order to counter the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digital playground called Aftermath. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring a social media platform, videos, audio clips, archive shows, research groups, documents, and a news aggregator. In addition, we're hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Conspirafact with Wes and Bill, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Parawareness with Mr. Gates and Isaac Weishaupt, Opposing Perspective with James Ponder, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and several more shows. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are available too. The monthly subscription for Aftermath is only $10 a month. The yearly special for new subscribers during the month of June is only $99. Sign up now by going to aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain, and the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com. This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org.
Channel Weird. I'm Clyde Lewis. Brian Kidd with us. I see here that you have also been to Japan.
I've been to Japan, but not with the Unipiper.
Okay. I was thinking, how do bagpipes go over in Japan?
That is on top of my to-do list to find out.
Just to introduce them to the bagpipes. It's like introducing them to cheese. I don't think Japanese people. Have you ever seen cheese on Japanese food? I mean, they cheat a little bit with the Rangoon stuff in the Chinese restaurants, right? I don't think Asians do cheese all that much.
Yeah, cheese and bagpipes.
Yeah,
I'm on a mission.
That's what you got to do. You got to go out there, bring your bagpipes, and then throw cheese in the audience, or at least meat products. Sausages.
Maybe I can rig them to shoot cheese sticks.
Something like that. I don't know. Oh, that's so funny to think about. Here we have the Unipiper. Okay, so I want to talk about. I know the bagpipes are waiting, and I'm just holding off a bit. Tell us about what you're planning on to do to organize the weirdness, because I saw something the other day, some campaign called "Make Portland Weird Again." Not that it's not weird. I mean, it is weird, but I do understand what they mean, because I was kind of like part of the weird scene there for a while. I go to Sinferno. I was at Karaoke from Hell. I did my little Ground Zero lounge there at Dante's. Pink showed up one day to sing. It was awesome. I mean, you drew in all these people that would show up at Dante's, or they show up at other weird bars. I was at Burbati's once. They had fetish night. We have all kinds of weird things we do here.
Yep.
What do we do to bring back the weird? And what are you going to do to bring back the weird?
I think that it's really a public relations campaign, because the weird is still here. And, for a while, weird on the national level was synonymous with Portland. And more recently, there are other things that are more synonymous with Portland at the moment. And I think that, we could use some more positive press. And I think weird is the answer. I think, like you said, with what I'm doing is bringing smiles to a lot of people's faces. I think the weird in general, there are a ton of people that are doing amazing, fun and weird and wacky things right now. And I think we just have to give them a platform. And, let's, because I can't do this all myself. That's why I want to, help promote and find the next Unipiper, whoever that is, or whatever they do. And when I started Weird Portland United, one of the questions that was really driving this was if I were to start doing what I do as the Unipiper, like now in 2018 or in 2021, would I have found the same success now that I did when I started back in 2007? And I hope the answer is yes. And I want the next generation of Weird to have that same fun chances and opportunities I did.
I remember. Excuse me. When I came here, I remember thinking to myself that when I'd come to Portland, that I'd be like experiencing Devivals from the Church of the Subgenius, which I know that they did that all the time. I thought, there'd be all these things, and there were more things and more. I mean, I remember one of the most memorable moments that I had in Portland was not only Street Elvis, because I loved watching him perform. Went to the Church of Elvis,
yeah,
and I went with Hog Whitman, who is this kind of a country singer, kind of parody country singer guy. And we went to Burbati's. It was one of the first bars I went to was Burbati's. Now it's not around anymore. But there was a band called Plesiosaur that played, and they were kind of like this weird, eclectic band that was like, I didn't understand how weird they were. And I thought, this is kind of fun. And then I looked, and I thought I saw the Ramones at Burbati's. I thought these guys were the Ramones walking around. Turned out it was the Romaines. They were a parody band of the Ramones. And I swear to God, I felt like I was watching, and they played at one of my parties because I loved them so much. Like I wanted that same feeling I got. And then Mojo Nixon, of course, played. But it was like, I wanted that same feeling I got when I was at Burbati's. I even asked Plesiosaur to play. They couldn't. They had another thing. I figured Plesiosaur, the Romaines, and some other bizarre group that could play at my gigs I did. We did Klingon karaoke back in the day. We had Jim, who was this guy who could sing classic hits in karaoke, which I thought was fun. We had a singing stormtrooper that came out and could sing karaoke as a stormtrooper. There was another Klingon that sang Just a Gigolo in Klingon. So we had a whole group of Klingons at the time. There were so many things I participated in that was weird, and I just miss it.
Yeah.
I miss just being able to come up with some weird idea and have it being either at a bar or having it somewhere where we get an opportunity to show how weird we can be. And it's missing, I think, because a lot of people, they move on. But I think a lot of people need to understand that this is the place where you can do this. And it's art. It's thriving arts is what this is.
Yeah. The way that I see it is that a lot of people complain about the people moving to Portland and Californians. And really, the reasons that people move to Portland are shifting. Because when I came here, I came to Portland because it was Portland and there was all this great stuff. Yeah. And now I think more often than not, people are coming to Portland because it might just be where their job is. It just happens to be in Portland. Mm-hmm. So I think it's our responsibility. If we miss this stuff, let's get all of these other people. They're just kind of like a blank slate. Let's get them excited and tell them how we do things and show them, lead the way.
Yeah, I mean, 48-hour film festival. That's another thing that's awesome about Portland. Weird independent films that are made here are great. I mean, so many things. If people knew, it's like I said, I actually called my family once and I said, if you only knew what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting in a bar watching a Klingon singing Bad to the Bone, and I'm having a beer. Or this one couple came to me once and they said, "Hey, we got married because we were at a bar watching a Klingon, hearing a Klingon singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it's because of you that happened." And I'm thinking, it's the weirdest thing though. These things happen. You were at my party that one time where we had the guy who has Erotic City, and he's Prince. He looks just like Prince. He sounds like Prince. He acts like Prince. And then we had this huge clown, gigantic clown. This comes from a terrifying clown. And I'm thinking, only in Portland do we have this stuff. And of course, Fred Armisen, when he came here to do Portlandia, he noticed the weirdness.
Yes.
And that's why he did Portlandia.
There's the Portlandia effect. We could probably talk an hour about, what that did to Portland, and was that a
good or bad
net win? I don't want to be one of those people who just down on Portlandia just because it's cool. But I think ultimately it was probably it didn't help.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I've talked with said it was cute and fun in the beginning, but it didn't help because it made us out to look like we didn't have normality. But that's the whole point. It's not that Portland is weird 24/7. It's when the sun goes down and people go into those dark corners and they do the weird stuff. Sometimes in broad daylight, don't get me wrong. I mean, we had that one guy, I don't know his name, the dude that had the Mickey Mouse ears that played the trumpet. In fact, they devoted a whole side of a building to him when
Kirk
Reeves, when he passed away. It was really sad because he was out there every morning without fail. I get my morning coffee, standing up Pioneer Square, playing his trumpet. And he comes to me and says, "Hey, dog, you want to play a song for you?" And it was awesome. That's the kind of thing I think we need to continue, is to have people who are open to doing art, whether it be music or something, where it's like every time we walk down the street, it's like a fair.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way I remember Portland when I first moved here. Every time I walked down the street, it was like a fair. And somebody was always there doing some weird thing or some interesting thing, painting something on the sidewalk. And then, here, you want to buy this? And it was just that's what I liked about it.
It's that mentality that you can do that without fear of being judged here in Portland.
Right.
And that's what we need to save and encourage people that if they are on the verge of maybe wanting to do their thing, like, go for it. This is Portland. Yes, you can do that here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, are you going to organize some meeting or what are you going to do?
Right. So now, as we are coming out of COVID and things are opening back up, as part of our strategy for Weird Portland United, we are planning something called a Weird Week, where we want to dedicate an entire week of activities to highlight a bunch of these different subcultures that a lot of people might not realize exist, but they do, and they're strong and thriving. For instance, there are the Portlandia Mermaids, and they are the largest organized group of mermaids in the country, and they are putting on basically a mermaid festival, and that's happening on July 31st. And they're bringing in the founder of the International Mermaid Museum as their head mermaid for this. So with Weird Week, we would just bring all of these different groups like that together.
We also have pirates here. I don't think people know that we have a pirate community.
PDX Pirates, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hovering into the pirate community before I moved on to do my national talk show, and I'd show up at some of the pirate gatherings, trying to put together my best pirate costume, although I did horribly. And then we had like a pirate band that sang a song called Scurvy. And I remember looking at all the bumper stickers that said "Eat a Lime." I mean, memory is definitely faulty because I've been busy and doing so many things. But I remember so many good experiences with the pirate community, the Klingon community. We have a bunch of nerds that do a bunch of things, and I think we need to exploit that in a lot of ways because it just makes it fun.
So
some people feel too cool to do it, but it's still, once they're exposed, they love it.
Yeah. So let's bring it together. And then I think we also, we're going to need to get the city on board to recognize this with an official proclamation creating a Keep Portland Weird holiday.
They still have the sign, though, up at Dante's, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, it's Keep Portland Weird. I've seen you drive by it or ride by it many times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that, yes, it needs to be done. We got to get back to that because I remember how fun it was just to be exposing yourself. Does it go all the way back to that? Exposing yourself to art?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Portland is always like, look at our history. We are always that town of like misfits and, because we're all the way at the end of the trail, and I think Portland attracted people of a like mindset. And we've always had those things to set us apart, like Mayor Bud Clark, expose yourself to art. What other town in the 80s had a mayor in it was basically a meme of the day. This poster got printed millions of times, flashing a piece of art. And he wound up on David Letterman talking about how Portland was doing things differently.
Right. It was fun when we had people like Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's kind of like we're all like, oh my God, we're embarrassed and we're all fighting each other and stuff. That doesn't need to be there anymore.
No.
We need to clean it up and be fun again. Brian Kidd right here with us. Get some bagpipe playing coming up. So stay tuned for that right here on Channel Weird. We'll be back.
It's a well-known fact that controversial talk show hosts have recently been censored and even banned on the internet by corporate and political interests. Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis from Ground Zero. And in order to counter the suppression of information, we've decided to create our own private digital playground called Aftermath. It's an exclusive online multimedia library featuring a social media platform, videos, audio clips, archive shows, research groups, documents, and a news aggregator. In addition, we're hosting other Ground Zero-friendly podcasts like Conspirafact with Wes and Bill, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Parawareness with Mr. Gates and Isaac Weishaupt, Opposing Perspective with James Ponder, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and several more shows. Mobile apps for Android and Apple are available too. The monthly subscription for Aftermath is only $10 a month. The yearly special for new subscribers during the month of June is only $99. Sign up now by going to aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Hey guys, it's Clyde Lewis. Have you ever wanted Ground Zero merchandise but didn't know where to go? Well, I want to let you know that we now have our own online store with such items as t-shirts, hoodies, decals, tote bags, and other exclusive specialty apparel. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. Coming soon will be signed posters and coffee mugs available as we are constantly adding new items. So shop today at the official Ground Zero store by going to groundzeromerch.com. That's groundzeromerch.com.
This coming July 3rd and 4th, Free and Equal Elections is hosting its 7th annual United We Stand Festival in Cambria, California. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I'll be there along with other freedom-conscious speakers. Free and Equal is a nonpartisan and well-known for their independent presidential debates. Their United We Stand festivals connect people of all ages with musicians, artists, and thought leaders to encourage civic involvement and inspire independent individuals to run for office. For more information, please visit freeandequal.org. Again, that's freeandequal.org. It's all over the news, food shortages and scarcity in the supply chain. And the reality is nobody truly knows what might happen in the near future. Hi, I'm Clyde Lewis, and I want to let you know that it's a good idea to plan ahead so you aren't caught off guard. Nothing's more important than having enough food to eat, and we're here to help. We highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's leading emergency preparedness company. They provide long-term emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage. When grocery stores run empty or disasters strike, their foods will be there when you need them most. Act now and secure at least a 4-week emergency food kit full of tasty meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. They have dozens of emergency food storage kits to choose from, along with a variety of other survival products. If the government tells you not to go out, you can have the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. After you order from My Patriot Supply, your food will arrive discreetly at your doorstep. Prepare today, because time is short. Go to preparewithgroundzero.com. That's preparewithgroundzero.com.
Brian Kidd with us. He is the Unipiper. And we are going to have the same privilege as Jimmy Kimmel has had, as the Gong Show has had, as America's Got Talent has had, to have Brian perform for us today. A few songs, maybe one or two, maybe one, I don't know. I guess the favorite would be playing some Star Wars thing. I mean, you're good at playing Star Wars, aren't you?
I've played it once or twice. I know it pretty well.
So first of all, I mean, before you play, we've got a little time. Could you show us exactly what bagpipes are and how they work? Because I didn't know that they were a reed instrument. They're a reed instrument, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the bagpipes. So they are a double reeded instrument, much like a oboe or a bassoon. So I'll pull this out. This is called the chanter. It's got holes on it, so it's where your fingers go and you play the different notes and the melody of the bagpipes. And this
there's the reed.
Little reed up there.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, because I saw that. I didn't know it was a reed instrument. I thought it was just all, you blow into it, and for some reason it makes this strange noise. But you have to get the bag full, right?
Yeah, you have to fill the bag. And so there's really two things going on with the bagpipes. One is remembering all the right notes to play. And then the other is a balancing act of keeping the bag, keeping the pressure of the air that is coming out of the reeds constant. So when you take a breath and stop blowing, you have to squeeze a little bit harder, and then you have to blow it back up again.
It's kind of like the didgeridoo, where you have to learn how to breathe and do things at the same time, right?
Right. So, I mean, it's technically circular breathing, but I mean, at least with the bagpipe, you've got this nice reservoir of air, which makes it a lot easier to keep the sound going. But keeping that pressure constant is what's going to make the sound the same, so people can't tell that you're breathing.
So today, instead of a unicycle, we have the office chair. Unless he wants to stand.
So it's like, what am I, 4 or 5 wheels right now?
You have 5 wheels. We didn't spring for the unicycle today.
You cannot play these sitting down. It
Okay, so he's going to have to stand.
I'm going to stand up, yeah.
So make sure that the camera can, or if we have to adjust the cam, you may want to come in.
Let me know if I need to move
Is he still
back
on cam? Okay, we're going to adjust the cam. Oh, it's going to be that cam.
Cool.
Okay, so he's going to do it on that cam. This is very improvisational, guys. This is amazing here. So what are you going to play?
Well, the other thing I should mention about the bagpipes for folks that don't know is that you can only play 9 different notes on the bagpipes. Okay. So a lot of songs just do not work on the bagpipes because the range is too large or whatnot. So finding those songs that A, people will recognize, and B, fit on the bagpipe, like those are where your money's at when you want to reach people quick.
Right.
So luckily Star Wars is one of those songs that just fits right in the range of the bagpipes.
Yeah. So imagine Darth Vader playing bagpipes, and I guess that was the popular one that I thought would be good to play today, the Star Wars song.
So I'll play that, and then I'll play just a couple more songs folks might recognize, and then I'll play a little bagpipe tune just to show off what the pipes sound like when you're not playing popular songs.
Okay, cool. Yes, it's amazing. So there were a bunch of songs in that medley of songs that were in those bagpipes. That's just too cool.
That's a little sampling of what you can do in pipes.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like lead pipe player. So now is there anything? I mean, okay, we got the fire. Is there anything else you're planning on adding to your pipes that need to be added, do you think? Or do you think just fire is the best and the only? I mean, the whole fire thing, I know you're not doing it today. That was another thing that my stepson is going to catch on fire. It's like Darth Vader, fire. That's all you think about. I mean, there are a lot of things I'm sure you can do with bagpipes that you're probably going to extend, or maybe even your unicycle. I don't know.
Well, one thing that I do in the summertime a lot is when we have, burn bans happening, that affects me too, because I can't have an open flame outside. Mm-hmm. So that's when I put on the bubble attachment and I blow bubbles instead of fire.
Does that do any damage to
the fire?
Yeah, does the fire or the bubbles? I mean, I can just imagine, you're blowing your bagpipes and there's so much bubble residue.
Okay, well, here, I'll show you, and you can tell listeners if you what you see at the end of the pipes.
Okay, I want to see this, because it's like, I always wonder, because the fire does go through the pipes, people.
Look at the end there.
Okay, there's a lot of carbon registering here. You guys see a lot of battles? That's basically what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, so, I mean, it does get hot. It's real fire. There's a pilot light that is constantly burning when I've got the fire on. So, I mean, the pipes do get singed, but it's all in the name of, I think it's worth it.
And the pipes lasted a long time with the singeing, or do you have to get new pipes? new attachments.
No, I've got
New attachments.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to say. I've never interviewed a bagpipe player before, so cut me some slack. Anyway, go ahead.
I have the same set of bagpipes that I've had since day one. So they have held up like a champ. I've had to upgrade the bag a couple of times. I did fall one time and land on some gravel that punctured the bag. Yeah.
You fell.
Yeah. It doesn't happen often.
Did you get asphalt burned or anything? That's horrible.
Yeah. What I'm scared, the thing that frightens me the most is like falling with the pipe in my mouth.
Oh my God. I never thought of that. Is if you fall the wrong way, just
right.
You look like something out of a Fulci movie or something.
Fortunately, the way that the unicycle works is like 9 times out of 10, if you're going to fall, you're going to land on your feet. Your feet are already just like 6 inches off the ground.
Right.
But I'm constantly scanning the ground. As long as I see what even if it's like a curb or something, I can go over the curb as long as I know it's coming. But if something catches me off guard, that's when you're just going to face plant.
So, okay. So we got the weird stuff. You're gathering together for hopefully getting Weird Week going on. Is there anything in plans that, I know that COVID is now lifting and everything. Are you going to be in demand for other things? I mean, have you got things on your docket, on your calendar, or is everything open now?
It is filling up with in-person weddings again right now.
Uh-huh.
During the past year, what I did so many, I did birthday grams, Unipiper birthday grams for people. So, it was.
Are you on Cameo?
I'm not on Cameo.
You should be.
Yeah, that's what
you should be on Cameo. Yeah. And also, for those that are watching nationally, what would it take to get you to their party anywhere in the United States or anywhere in the world? Because I know you travel the world. So what does it take?
I mean, you fly me out and pay for my expenses, and we'll work out a price and tell me what's going on. It was funny, I did have someone reach out to me about a gig in the United Arab Emirates right in the middle of the pandemic, and I was like, well, not now, but maybe later.
Well, the reason why is because they're the most clean. They were the cleanest area. I mean, they're the only place that didn't get hit. They did it all right for some reason.
Right.
And that's why I think, Kiss did they did a show there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they weren't going to do a show. They were asked to come play, and they had to go through all these tests and they had to be all three, to make sure they were okay. The audience was like far away in the hotels watching them. There was no audience in the ground. So they were playing to this small audience. So, I mean, yeah, that's why. Because that'd be interesting. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, me too.
I hear it's really nice.
Yeah.
So you're doing weddings. You're doing other gigs. How do people get in touch with you to do the gigs?
They can find me at my website at unipiper.com and just send me a message and tell me what's up. I anything from playing for your dogs for your dog training to your birthday and your funeral.
Is this lucrative?
It is the perfect side job.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're getting paid to be you.
Right.
That's the dream.
And I also, because this isn't my full-time profession, I get to really choose to do what I want with it.
Well, how do you tell you don't have a boss, do you?
Yeah, I've got upper management.
Okay, so you got somebody you got to go to and say, I got to play this gig. Are they pretty lenient on you, or? Yeah,
and I've been at the same company almost since I came to Portland, so they have seen the progression of this, and they think it's kind of funny in that way. So that they gave me time off to go be on Jimmy Kimmel. Oh yeah, okay, you can go do that.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I guess when you're unique in that regard, I'm glad you have people around you that see the uniqueness and the fun, and they're willing to give you that opportunity. Because, it'd suck if you had to be bogged down doing things you don't love and then having to, separate the two, because I'm sure you really love what you're doing.
Yes. And I mean, no pun intended. It's a balancing act. I've got being the Unipiper, I feel like, is what keeps me sane from all of the other, technical life stuff.
Right. Well, Brian, it's amazing that you're doing this, that you've been doing this for so long, and that you are keeping Portland weird.
Yeah, I feel a responsibility that if people are going to call me Portland's unofficial mascot, I'm going to do my best to give it a good name.
well, you're doing a fine job, and we're probably going to see more of you on other shows. We're probably going to see you at more events, hopefully, now that COVID's lifted. I know that I've been hearing rumors that maybe the UFO festival is going to be happening later on. I know that there's a Bigfoot festival happening out in Longview. Maybe you ought to show up as Bigfoot.
Let's do them all.
Yeah, maybe I should put in a word for you.
Yeah.
Brian Kidd, thank you so much for being on Channel Weird. It was a pleasure, and hope to have you again, and maybe send some more weird people our way. It'd be awesome.
Thank you, Clyde. It was so much fun.
You bet. And join us next week for another edition of Channel Weird. And I'm Clyde Lewis. We'll see you soon.